So you just bought an Epic Pass and you want to come out to Colorado and ride some of our big gnarly mountains, or you just moved to Colorado and you're like, dude, what's the best epic ski resort in Colorado? Now Vail owns 5 of them, but there's technically 6 of them if you get the full Epic Pass, meaning Telluride is thrown onto the list. But what are those 5 resorts? We have Keystone, Breckenridge, Vail, Beaver Creek, and Crested Butte, and then Telluride is your 6th bonus one. Only if you get the full Epic. It's more of a partnership resort than a owned ski resort. So out of the 5 owned ski resorts, what's the best one to go to? Where should you go on a trip with your Epic Pass? And so in this video, I'm gonna answer that question for you. Now, the reason why you should listen to me is I've gone to them all. I've been to every single epic ski resort in Colorado, so I definitely know which ones are the best. And the way we're gonna look at it, the lens we're gonna look through, is kind of like a family going on a trip, or like a intermediate beginner rider. If you're an expert snowboarder, still watch, you're gonna know which resort to go to. So starting off the list is Keystone. Keystone is your 5th best resort to go to in Colorado. It is personally my favorite resort because it has insane tree skiing, some of the best and steepest tree skiing out of the resorts. It has an incredible terrain park with nice large jumps, great rails. It used to be the best terrain park in Colorado. That's kind of fallen off of its glory, but Keystone overall is incredible. But the reason why it comes in number 5 is it doesn't have a lot of beginner runs. There's not a lot of beginner terrain there. So if you're a family of 3 or 4 and you got a young one that can only stick on greens, well, you get really limited when you come to Keystone because it's not a very beginner friendly mountain. This is more of an intermediate, like perfect for intermediate riders. If you're an advanced rider, you can hike up to some really awesome terrain and ride some really rad stuff. But overall, Keystone is like not for beginners. So that's why it comes in at number 5 on this list. Before we continue, if you guys want to support this channel or the dream, consider snagging an Evolution sticker. We do have a ski version for everyone out there. All of my Evolution merch is linked down below. It's how I do this for a living, so thank you so much to everyone that has snagged it. And if you do snag one, I am following back 1 person a week on Instagram that snags it and tags me on Instagram. So snag a sticker, tag me on Instagram, and you might get followed back. So number 4, the 4th resort that's worth going to is going to be Crested Butte. And kind of like Keystone, the reason why Crested Butte came in so low on the list, despite being one of the raddest resorts in Colorado, is it's more of an expert style terrain. You go to Crested Butte, you're really going to do the gnarly stuff. Ride the steepest cut run in North America, access any of their crazy hike to terrain, which is like the bread and butter and the greatness of Crested Butte. They do have a decent amount of beginner runs, which is nice, but if you're into the terrain park riding, their park kind of comes short. They do build some medium-sized jumps, but the rails, everything, it's just like, it's not as good as it could be. It's kind of built a little off, so Crested Butte falls short kind of mainly because of the terrain park in my eyes. So I would say it's number 4 on the list of should you go there. Now number 3, this one is an incredible mountain. Once again, one of the top in Colorado, Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek has tons of beginner terrain for the beginners out there, the intermediate riders, on top of just a ton of terrain to ride, period. Of course, you got a ton of incredible tree riding at Beaver Creek. The Aspens are some of the funnest stuff to go to. They have the whole Birds of Prey area, which is like World Cup ski racing, gnarly level that you can get into. And then they built a pretty solid park. Last year they had a 4 jump line, was sick. They always have incredible rails. So I really like Beaver Creek. That's why it's number 3 on my list of should you go to these resorts. Now before I tell you the 2nd best resort to go to on a trip to Colorado, I'm gonna wait and tell you today's video sponsor, because once I tell you, you're gonna know which one's number 1. Pearl Wax is our wax sponsor. If you guys need some wax for this upcoming season, skier or snowboarder, they have every type of wax that you can think of, whether it's warm weather, cold weather, springtime wax. On top of, they have an incredible wax starter kit if you want to get into waxing your stuff. It is eco-friendly, so it's incredible for the mountain, and if you want to get really nerdy with it, they do have plant-based options for their wax as well. If you use my code BUCK20, you'll save 20% off your first purchase, and then any purchase going forward, use code BUCK15 and you'll save 15% off. Pearl is a female-owned Colorado brand that's been around forever. I love Pearl Wax. Snag yourself some wax, linked in the description. All right, number 2 resort you should go to if you are coming to Colorado, or if you're in Colorado. And a lot of you guys are gonna disagree with me on this one, because I think this resort is kind of overrated on my overall best resorts in Colorado. I don't even think hits my top 5, and that is Vail. Vail gets a lot of love and hype because of how large it is, but just because it's large doesn't mean it's actually the best, in my opinion. Now you're gonna have a ton of green runs and blue runs and trees, and like, it is a really awesome resort. There is something for everyone there. They have toned down their parks in the past, but last year they kind of ramped it back up. So Vail does have a decent park, and you know, the legendary back bowls are really fun on a good snow day. But overall, Vail is kind of overwhelming. I don't know, it's just, to me, it's not as good as the #1 one for families coming on a trip to Colorado. I think if they want to have the best experience, Breck is the one to do. Because not only does the mountain offer literally everything, and you can ride with your family on a bunch of blues and greens, and then within seconds, you can get to the top of the mountain as dad or the more advanced riders, and they could be doing some really epic stuff really fast, and then quickly be back riding with the kids on the blues and the greens. It builds an incredible terrain park, very consistent, great rails, great jumps, super fun park year over year. You can spread it out within multiple days, so on one day you're riding peak 6 and peak 7, the next day you can spend a whole day on peak 8, and then you can go over to peak 9 and peak 10. Like, you can mix it up, it offers so much to you. Breck is a rad resort with a lot of great tree riding. It is more mellow pitch if you're not going up to the top bowls, but if you're coming on a trip and you want the biggest bang for your buck, I think Breck is one of those for you. Now, there is one more resort that's technically not owned by Vail. We talked about it earlier. Telluride. Personally, I think Telluride is the greatest resort that I've ever been to, period. So of course, this one's really at the top of my list. If you can swing flying into Telluride, or it's hard to get to, so if you can get there really easily, I mean, that's gonna be flying to Telluride, but if you can get to Telluride, that one's really gonna be the best option for you. Incredible park, incredible runs, insane big mountain riding, like enough for everyone. Telluride's my personal favorite, but it's not owned by Vail, so I hope this list did help you. If you wanna see any of my videos at any of these ski resorts, go to resortskimaps.com. It's a resort map of every resort in the United States. All the green snowboarders are the resorts we've been to. You can click on them and watch the videos there. We do have a goal to ride every resort in the United States, and so this is how you guys can track our progress by going to resortskimaps.com. And with that, Team Buckhouse, as always, thanks for watching. Keep evolving. We'll see you guys tomorrow in another video. It's daily on this channel. We do stuff like this daily.